Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend this presentation. We have some exciting plans to share with you today. As many of you may know, Microsoft has recently been in an economic downturn. As seen in Handout A, we are struggling to compete against our biggest competitors in all of our product markets. Apple's iPhones have run our phones off the market. Mac computers as well as Chromebooks have become fierce competitors for our professional and personal computing businesses. While we have made significant improvements in cloud computing, Amazon is still dominating us in most aspects. Additionally, the PS4 and Nintendo Switch continue to outsell our Xbox One. In most regards, we have been reactive to our competitors' actions, and we need to make a bold, unexpected move. We believe the potential acquisition we will be presenting today will allow us to shake things up and give us back our competitive edge. All the major technology companies have been attempting to enter the entertainment sector in some capacity by producing their own exclusive content. While there have been a few notable successes, such as Amazon's Transparent, none of the major 5 technology companies have consistently been able to produce profitable content on a large scale. We all, in our own ways, develop and produce the means by which entertainment is consumed. It makes sense to expand on that and also develop and produce the entertainment as well. While we do have some exclusive content offerings in gaming, we think we need to expand those offerings to include movies and television shows. Since this would basically be a whole new industry for us, we think it is wiser to buy a company that already does it and does it well, rather than attempt to do it ourselves. We think Netflix would be an ideal acquisition candidate because they are the only company that is both a leader in entertainment and technology. In Handout B, we have provided you Netflix's main financial statements for the past 5 years and some other financial data for you to look over at your own convenience. While Netflix has developed several award-winning series, including Stranger Things and Orange is the New Black, its real achievement is how it has revolutionized how entertainment is delivered. Netflix's business model has changed how we watch television and movies, allowing us to view them virtually wherever and whenever we want, for as long as we want. The cultural phenomenon of binge watching is a product of Netflix's streaming service. In the article, Netflix is the only big company to successfully marry tech and content, Simon Owens explains, Netflix, quote, is one of the only large companies that can claim that they are both a content company and a tech company. But what receives less coverage is how successful Netflix has been from the technology side, specifically the engineering hurdles it's overcome in seamlessly delivering high-definition video to over 100 million customers. End quote. Netflix was started in 1998 as an online DVD rental company where subscribers had access to unlimited DVDs that were sent to their house. Netflix launched their streaming feature in 2007 with the increase of internet speeds and a movement away from the DVD rentals. Netflix took their streaming internationally in 2010 when it became available in Canada. In 2011, Latin America and the Caribbean could also enjoy its services, and the UK was added in 2012. Netflix started producing its own original content with their insanely popular House of Cards in 2013. Netflix reported 117 million subscribers in 2017 and over $11.6 billion in revenue. Though they are currently competing with Hulu, Amazon Prime, and the UK's Love Film, Netflix is continuing to see an increase in subscribers and viewers.
In Handout C, we have provided you with a SWOT analysis of both our companies subsequent to the acquisition. Following our acquisition of Netflix, we can expand their features to share our core competencies, resources, and markets. For example, as many of you may know, our gaming department is currently working on an improved streaming system for video games. By acquiring Netflix, we can come together to develop the streaming software and create exclusive content. We will have overlap of technical developers and creative writers that can work together to develop the newest and most innovative streaming software, games, movies, and TV shows. In addition to collaborating on new content, we can use our existing exclusive content to develop new crossover products, such as a Stranger Things video game for Xbox One, or a movie offered on Netflix based on our Halo video game. After acquiring Netflix, we will be able to rebrand ourselves as innovative and open to new ideas and collaborations. Netflix will benefit from this acquisition similarly to Microsoft when it comes to shared content. They can also benefit from our cloud computing services. Netflix currently uses Amazon Web Services for most of their cloud computing and business computing infrastructure. Netflix could use our Azure cloud computing services at rates lower than Amazon currently offers them. This will allow them to diversify their services and reduce the risk of potential outages, as well as reduce Netflix's operating expenses. As a firm, we have an immense amount of cash, which Netflix is lacking. This acquisition will allow Netflix to have a cash source to fund their operations and content development that they could receive at a discounted rate to save on interest expenses. Both Netflix and Microsoft will benefit from promotional opportunities as a result of this acquisition. Acquisitions create a lot of press, and a friendly acquisition involving two larger companies like ours will top the headlines for months. Following the news outbreaks, our companies can continue promoting the other far into the future. There are also several potential marketing strategies we could utilize, such as offering packaged, cost-saving deals that include both a Netflix subscription and an Xbox Live subscription at a lower total cost, or offering a free 1-year subscription of Netflix when a customer purchases an Xbox One or a copy of Microsoft Office. There are also some potential disadvantages to this acquisition. To begin, the cost of acquiring Netflix is very high, and is more than any other acquisition we've pursued in the past. There is also little potential for this acquisition to achieve economies of scale or substantial operating cost savings, since our two businesses don't provide much overlap.
Now let's talk about the structure and financing of the deal. We propose purchasing a 51% stake in Netflix. Because the cost and risk to acquire Netflix is so significant, we want to purchase the minimum percentage of ownership that will still grant us control over Netflix's operating decisions and prevent any other company from purchasing a controlling stake. A 51% stake in Netflix requires purchasing 221.3 million of their outstanding shares. The market value of these shares as of March 29, 2018 was $295.35 per share. We are suggesting a 20% premium per share for a total consideration of $78.44 billion. We are offering a 20% premium to compensate for the anticipated growth of Netflix's bottom line and to entice shareholders into accepting the deal. Netflix's book value of their net assets as of December 31, 2017 was $3.58 billion, and 51% of that, or our share after the acquisition, would be $1.83 billion. This means that the difference in the consideration offered, which is $78.44 billion, and our share of the book value of their net assets, or expected goodwill, would be $76.6 billion. After fair value assessments are conducted on Netflix's assets and liabilities, the amount of goodwill should be substantially lower. To finance the deal, we recommend funding it mostly through cash we have on hand and raising the rest of the cash needed through new debt issuance. We anticipate funding 60% of the deal with our cash reserves and the rest through a mixture of debt. We will use $47 billion of our cash, which will still leave us with over $100 billion in cash and cash equivalents. We will raise the other 40%, or $31.4 billion, with short-term and long-term debt. Rates have been rising, and, as you all know, we are expecting 2 to 3 more interest rate hikes this year. With that being said, rates are still relatively low, and, given our AAA credit rating, we think it would be wise to take advantage of the rates while we still can and avoid using any more of our cash reserves. We propose issuing $7.85 billion of one-year bonds with an anticipated coupon rate of 2.31% to 3.06%, and $23.55 billion of 20-year bonds with an expected coupon rate of 4.25% to 5%. We believe shareholders will be receptive to this deal because of the premium we are offering and because of the many benefits Netflix would reap as a result of this acquisition, the biggest being a way to solve their potential cash flow crisis.
This acquisition could be a one-time or a step acquisition. We propose that this be contingent upon the results of the initial acquisition. While we feel the upside of the risk of this acquisition is very great, we also want to try to mitigate that risk as much as possible. If the acquisition is able to meet certain criteria 5 years from the date the acquisition is completed, we suggest purchasing another 15 to 29%. We feel it would be unnecessary to exceed an 80% ownership to prevent any unnecessary cash flow issues down the road and to ensure our investment holdings remain diversified. The step acquisition would be contingent upon Netflix realizing a 15% increase in net income, our company seeing a 15% increase in revenues that can be directly attributed to the merger, or some combination of these two requirements that together equal 15%. Because we do not recommend exceeding an 80% ownership stake at any point, Netflix would always maintain separate incorporation. While there may be many potential intra-entity transactions that occur after the acquisition, the two most significant we foresee occurring are cash loans made to Netflix and Netflix using our cloud computing services. While both will be done at discounted rates, we still expect to profit from these transactions. We will measure all assets and liabilities on Netflix's books at their fair market value and will also try to identify new assets not currently on their books. Any new assets or liabilities that are recognized or any fair market value revaluations will be amortized or depreciated over the identified economic useful life as consolidation entries. Any of Netflix's in-process research and development will be recognized as an asset at its fair value on the date of acquisition in the consolidated financial statements. There will be a 49% non-controlling interest after the acquisition is complete. The non-controlling interest will be reported at fair value on the consolidated financial statements. The fair value of the non-controlling interest will be measured based on current market prices of Netflix's stock. The goodwill that will result from the acquisition will first be allocated to us, Microsoft. Then the remaining will be allocated to the non-controlling interest.
When you think of innovation and technology, you think of companies like Google, Facebook, or Apple. At the moment, few people would associate those things with Microsoft. We are seen as dependable and useful, and though those things are great, we have become the vanilla flavor of the tech industry. Acquiring Netflix will allow us to revive our brand and to once again be seen as revolutionary, inventive, and exciting. We will also be able to reshape our competitive scope to include the movie and television industry. This will complement and enhance our current business products. This will also give us the opportunity to not only diversify our product offerings, but to increase the sales of various products through strategic management and promotion. Both firms will be able to combine their market shares as well as enter new markets more easily through the use of our combined resources and capabilities. We realize an acquisition like this is totally unprecedented for Microsoft. But we cannot continue to follow the precedent. We cannot continue to maintain the status quo or even take tepid little steps away from it. Our status quo may allow us to stay profitable, but it will not fuel substantial growth. Substantial growth is spurred by a radical leap into the unknown. We need to make that leap. We need to acquire Netflix and reclaim our position as a pioneer in our industry. Here are a list of references that we used for this presentation. Handout D also includes this list for you for your convenience. We will now address any concerns or answer any potential questions that you may have. Thank you for listening to our presentation.